familiar at all about these two. So I just want to see the chat box. So to understand the usage, the frequency of the participants, the tech tools.
Okay, I think it's coming in already. Someone said one regularly.
Right. So the participant, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what we'll
Yes.
do is you may just, post it, right? How frequency you, okay, that's great to see. A couple of them have said one, which means, almost every day they use it. So,
Of
let's
course.
not wait for the results. Let's get into the presentation, right? Okay,
Thank you.
great. Okay, so the format of the session is going to be, understanding what exactly legal technology is and the usage of the, these tools in certain areas in law, and understanding how the LLMs, that's the large language models, work, how the generative AI can help us
Ramya, we can't hear you there.
kind of demo, right? So that's how the session is going to be. So this will clarify as how exactly it is, right? So to start, before talking about the legal tech, so let's understand technology as it is. So right, so technology is something, right? So when it just it is scientific knowledge for practical purposes. So when I just sit through and think what technology has got us, in fact, we are in this room. That's because of technology, right? So you just sit in a room and you order your food, you order, you book your cabs, your trains, your whatnot, your flights, and all these things are possible. Technology as a part of daily life, right? So that's number one. So when it's just thinking through, the technology is something which is given us a kind of convenience, right? That's something. When I just think of technology, I can just think, it's a convenience factor and the value add, especially in healthcare. The kind of technology in healthcare is something, it's remarkable, right? I personally have a friend of mine who has the condition of polio, a condition where you cannot walk properly. That's because the vaccination has not been given to the person when he was one year old, and it's as casual that they've missed it out, right? So when I just think through, I have a 3-year-old kid where I get a message stating, your vaccination is due, and I get a the time down, 2 days and 1 days. So the kind of technology, so probably he would always feel bad that if he has given things on time, probably he can also be normal like any of us. So the value that the technology is adding is always remarkable. Then in the field of education, right, we are the the virtual technology has reached far away. So overall, in terms of security, right, the CCTV cameras, the firewalls, encryption, and all these things in terms of security. So so understanding, uh, right. So I didn't move the slides. Just give me a minute. All right, so that's all. I just want to talk about technology in terms of how it is, given us overall, not only in terms of legal, right? So when we, so overall, when just think of technology, which is the convenience and the value which is adding. So when we just think technology in terms of the same line, right, that which is giving us convenience and which is giving us a value. So this is what the legal technology. If actually the definition what you're seeing in the screen, it says legal technology is a type of technology that delivers legal services and supports the legal industry. It typically refers to software instead of the traditional hardware like computers, printers, and scanners, right? And most of the technologies usually designed to help attorneys and firms. That's what we're going to see. So let's have it in mind. Legal technology is something which is for convenience and which is going to add value. All right, you may just tell me probably if you feel I'm fast, I would slow down the speech. Okay. All right. The next thing, what I understood about legal technology is what there is there in your screen, right? So, someone who do the, things for the family in and out, right? So these are the things, the kitchen appliances, the home appliances. It's something, which has helped a lot in terms of quickening and finishing the stuff. So I have a lot of time for myself, for my profession, for my family, basically a quality time, right? So, the technology has given me time. And the other one is the film camera and a digital camera, right? So currently we no more see anywhere a film camera, right? And the digital camera, in fact, the solution is even more very sharp, right? The results are very sharp. So in the same line, I would want you all to think about the legal technology. So the tools, what we have is, it's been substituted, or, it's something new has come. So, we just need to accept that so that we can give a sharper resolution as how the digicam is giving in the current scenario. All right. So this is something an interesting, what I would want to share. I know this is a startup in India, right? They're called lawyers on spot services offered. So the solution, or, this is basically by technology solution, what they are giving is something very interesting. So I just thought I'll put it in the slide and share it with you guys. So, we have a lot of these trucks going on roads, right? So when they meet with an accident, generally what happens is they hit on the villages, so the victim dies at times. So if at all the driver, is getting in the hands of the villages, the localites there, they kill him out of, that furious and angry. So that's the condition which is happening where these trucks are involved in an accident. So this group called Lawyers on Spot, so they have got an app where they enrolled all these truck drivers in their applications. So what happens is that in case of any kind of accident, they would be informed, right? So the alert would go to them. So instantly they would reach out. They have a network of lawyers. So within some, 2 to 3 kilometers or maximum 5 kilometers. So the information goes to them, and more likely the lawyer is also a localite from the same surrounding. So they can speak the language, and, they can connect with them better. So what happens? A kind of justice is delivered for both the victim as well as the driver. So, in case of any compensation, the negotiation happens on the floor, with the police men involved. So this is like far extent avoids injustice to either the victim, or for that matter in the driver who runs away in a hit and run cases. All right, so this is a quick go through on the evolution of legal tech. Right, so technology is something not new to us. In fact, last week when I attended one of a session like that, a person asked about the technology, right? The technology has been there in the grandfather's age, father's age, and why is there so hype about the technology? Right, very true. So I just told him, it's like the waves in the ocean, it's so usual, but then it's a one tsunami, once in a lifetime, you can never forget. So the kind of technology which is happening now, I foresee something like a wave of the wave of changes which is embracing in all the fields, not only legal. So it's high time that we also embrace the technology. All right, so just to quickly take you through on the evolution of legal tech. So in 1940s, the predictive analytics started. And then in 1970s, the online legal research is something which was introduced. And after that, it was online dispute resolution. So in fact, online dispute is something, ODR it's called, even now in the current scenario also, it's not reached to the potential which it's supposed to be, with the kind of ease and the benefits it holds. It's still in its nascent stages. Right, in 2000 we have automated case management system. 2005 e-discovery, right? E-discovery is something which has been there now almost in the legal industry across the jurisdiction, I would say. And 2010 there is a collaboration of tools, mobile apps, AIs, AR, VR, everything, we've had it. All right. Another interesting evolution is the blockchain and the smart contract. So the blockchain and smart contract is a technology, though it says 2010, it's in its very, very nascent stage. And at least for me, according to me, it would take time to reach the legal technology. But nevertheless, we have come across, startups who are trying to achieve, the results ends meet and give a great solutions and achieve justice by through this blockchain and smart contract technologies, right? Last 2020 video conferencing, right? So thanks to pandemic COVID. So that's something which is almost every day in and day out in our everybody's life. All right. So here are the legal tech tools, the areas where the legal technology can, can be, the technology can provide us legal aid, right? So these online legal research platforms, right? There has been a constant element of practice of law in terms of research. However, the definition of legal research has been anything but static over time, especially over the past decade or two. Legal research, the long timeline that is the history of legal research can be summed up in words. I know that is in books earlier, lots of books, rows and rows of books, until relatively recently, at least, that's what it's called as so-called legal research. While the digitalization of legal research was a monumental advancement, the basic routine remained largely the same in the lawyer group. So, at least initially. So important legal questions are identified and relevant authorities researched and analyzed. Books have been traded for computers, after the invent of computers, but lawyers are doing almost the same thing day in and day out. But then when you talk about research in the technology space, technology time, the transition of digital has not marked the end of the evolution of legal research. As technology continues to advance, so does legal research also. And those advancements has spawned changes to the nature of legal research itself, in fact, right? So it has transformed from combing through online database to pertinent information being delivered to you. And because of additional analysis and editorial enhancements, the information available now is better than before, in fact, right? So, after you completed the official research, today's legal research technology has more to offer, in fact. So how do you know, you have gone through everything in terms of research? So how do you know that the authorities on which your argument relies are reliable, right? So when researching, you often know that the case you are looking for, it addresses a particular legal issue, a fact, a pattern you can notice, a motion type, or, outcome. So there may be thousands of potentially relevant cases to sort through, many of which turn out to be, decided under a different law with different facts or, outcomes in a wrong way also. So today, new capabilities offer a more efficient way to conduct legal research and find on-point case, providing you with greater confidence in your research. For example, right, the few of the legal research platforms like Westlaw, you can find legally and factually similar cases with unparalleled speed and accuracy. So, you can run your research and gather all potentially relevant cases, then filter your results to file exactly what you need. So sometimes, what you're looking for, but also know, there are more multiple relevant issues or rules that can change over time. So these traditional research methods help build out
Ramya,
an, yeah.
I think some of us are taking notes and they are writing in longhand. Is it possible if you can take the pace a little slower so we can catch
I
up
will
with
do that. I will
explanations?
take it slow.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you
Thank you
very
for
much.
that.
So we can take the
All
notes
right. All
we
right.
have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I was just telling about this legal research, right? So where research, though we've seen the timeline in 1970s, the name legal research has been known about. But then with the advent of the technology, how this legal research has entirely taken a new avatar, right? A new shape, basically, right? Because of the sheer amount of raw data that can now be analyzed by AI, right? The scope of legal research has grown beyond its traditional boundaries, right? So for instance, through an analysis of a judge's past rulings, AI can now generate insight into patterns in a judge's behavior pattern. So this is something, we are getting it because of the AI. So how often does a judge side with a plaintiff in your type of case, or in your specific type of motion? What kind of arguments resonate with your judge? What's the kind of authority that does the judge prefer, right? So these are the things. So we get on top of the usual research that we've been so called calling it as legal research with the invent of AI. So knowing your judges propensities helps in crafting a strong argument possible. And also it helps you identify authority you may have missed, or that has been maybe advantages to show cause. So outside the courtroom, knowing your judges habits can help you set client expectations regarding the cost, timing, and possible outcomes of the matter. As much as clients dislike the bad news from their lawyers, they hate it even more when the bad news is a surprise, right? So it's good to be well informed, right? So and what can you learn about the your opposing counsel? That's another interesting thing. So this kind of insights isn't only available on your judge, right? So if your opposing counsel or their law firm has any history in the court system, you may be able to get data driven analytics about them. So now, how much experience does your opposing counsel have on a particular issue? How successful are they or on certain types of motions? Do they have any other history with your judge? All these things, with the AI research, it is possible. So, and one more thing, while we're interestingly talking about these things to note is it's not only available to you, right? So your opposite counsel can also access to all this information, right? So while we are focused on the benefits that these advancements in legal research have for you, they aren't exclusive. That is, your opponents have access to the same enhancement and analytics. They can find every relevant authority and root out the bad ones. They can get insights into the habits of their judges and those of their opposing counsel. That's you, right? So what does that mean overall? Right? While this mean a quick check to find flaws in your opponent's arguments, the reverse is also true. They can also find about us. So your opponents now have an easy access to the tool to find any authority that you missed, or to find out whether an authority that your argument relies on is no longer valid. Right? So imagine sitting in the courtroom and having opposing counsel inform the judge about a ruling that wasn't included in your brief. Such a bad state. None of us would want to go through that, right? So with AI in legal research, this has transformed, the overall thought process, what we were thinking as, what is so-called legal research. So making this research process more efficient and sophisticated, it has automated and streamlined and retrieval and analytics of, legal information. So, having said all these things, just to, summarize as what is the benefit that you, carry when you use these legal research tools is, it's a, most of the research tools offer these functionalities as, comprehensive search functionality. This enables legal professionals to conduct detailed searches for citations, questions, statutes, legislation, and more, right? And specific document searches. The platform allows you for targeted searches within pleadings, motions, briefs, sample forms, legal news, journals, and different courts and whatnot. So now, you can filter results by, in case of US, it can be done as, federal or state level as well, and also for other jurisdiction. So, now the lawyers can extend their research beyond the jurisdiction. That's one of the great advantage that the current tool is offering. Primary and secondary sources. This tool provides access to wide array of primary and secondary source of information. Similarly, as document and citation analysis can be done, practice area resources. That's something interesting, right? You can focus on templates, forms, checklist, and drafting documents are covered extensively with detailed resources available for various legal fields such as family law, criminal, and etc. So it also provides litigation analytics. For litigators, it provides insights into court decisions, success rates of attorneys, the performance comparisons across different courts and judges, as we have seen. So this can be done as litigation analytics doc level. So that's to do with legal research. And in fact, in the forthcoming slide, we have shared a couple of the very famous or very user-friendly research tool also, right? So so then coming the legal drafting tools, so these legal drafting always, when you just think of drafting, you always think of someone sitting with paper or, initially starting with the template and do the drafting, right? So when you talk about legal drafting as practicing, conventionally, it's a kind of intense endeavor that requires legal professionals to navigate complex legal frameworks, precedents, and language. Whether it's drafting contracts or agreements or pleadings, lawyers invest significant time and expertise in crafting documents that accurately reflect the intentions and obligations of the parties involved. So, having said that, it's a tedious process, doing the drafting. So how the emergence of AI is helping us, it's something, quite interesting. So these AI powered tools, fueled by advancements in NLPs and machine learning, are revolutionizing the way the documents are created. These tools have the capability to analyze vast repositories of legal data, identify relevant clauses and provisions, and generate customized documents with remarkable speed and accuracy. That's something which we need to right.
Very enterprising organization work. So it's not rocket science.
Okay, let me proceed. I was just, hearing somebody speaking.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, right. Okay, so overall, if you look into the AI-powered legal drafting, what is in it is an increased efficiency and productivity, right? It significantly reduces the time and sources required for drafting legal documents, enabling legal professionals to focus on higher value tasks rather doing, the mundane, say, something like an NDA, which has been done day in and day out, that can be, standardized. So that's what it says, increased efficiency. Then it enhances the accuracy and consistency. So human error is possible, right? AI-powered drafting tools excels in maintaining accuracy and consistency across legal documents. And adaptive learning and customization. This is something, an interesting feature, we've noted. So in these tools, when you have your style of, the playbook is what they call, when your style of documents, the draft contracts, which has been uploaded, so it understands, right? So, and it analyzes all the kind of documents that your firm, has the style of doing it. And in the upcoming, so when you give an instruction, when you just keen in the details as who are the parties, what's the requirement, it just goes back to your style of drafting, and then it gives a draft. So that's something I find, the customization, right? So you need to keep giving input as how you give it to your juniors. So you need to keep giving input stating, this is what I'm looking at, this is what I'm looking at. So it's getting improved, right? So that's something really you need to look at. All right, so the next one is something, the review tool. The review tool, right? So, when you just want to think of review, at least you can do the drafting, but then reviewing is, really another kind of task, which is not so exciting, right? So the redlining and stuff. So now, with the pre-screening contract, is a long-standing practice. So traditionally performed by paralegals and junior lawyers on most business contracts. So now, however, this has been given to AI. So the need for contract pre-screening has always existed because of the impossible to identify which parts of contract require focus without reading the entire document, right? So however, commercial contracts are often quite similar. Something like, something like, say, a jurisdiction clause, right? It can be a boilerplate clause, which can be similar, but in an analysis, it was found that 1.4 million contracts revealed an astonishing 335, that is 335,000 variations in the language used for the simple choice of law, basically on jurisdiction. So this variation highlights the complexity and the lack of standardization in contract language. So this leads to a waste of time and resource for lawyers and organizations. So what is in it when you talk about contract review tools? It increases the efficiency of legal team. At least, a report says 30 to 60% of your time is saved, and improved deal velocity. It's something, the speed in which the company can negotiate with others and sign a contract and get the deal done. So this is this has come, it has reduced 10 to 20 days on the negotiation time has been reduced, and at the end of the day, happy lawyers and happier salespeople. Who else, right? So that's how these tools, and about all these tools, we just given a kind of handout, as you can see what are the good to go tools. So similarly, we have contract life cycle management software, right? So the CLM, and it has a centralized data depository. It has search capabilities, right? And also, the reporting, the template libraries, custom workflows, collaborative editing options are there, automated reviews, artificial intelligence, it uses it, right? So basically, in the CLM process, the AI works great. The end-to-end management system becomes flawless. Let it be either your pre-signing or post-signing of contract. So the entire cycle of contract management has been, the AI tool contributes great features when it comes to CLM. And also, apart from the contract lifecycle management, generally for mid and big firms, we also of late coming across a lot of startups offering in Xylos, a tool where you can just save your contracts, right? So where you can save your templates. So currently, at least, there are the CLM, the lifecycle management tool. It offers as entire thing as a bundle, but we have been having technologists coming across with things offering in Xylo, so you may just choose what you want, right? And in legal practice management, the case management software, right? So it's the glue that holds all the matter elements together in the software. So from the case, you can negotiate, you can navigate to all calendar appointments, and you have a separate feature for calendar, the firm's calendar. So this helps the staff to understand everything that's going on in the office. So the firm's calendar makes it easy for staff to schedule attorney's time, and it's synced with Outlook. So that can reduce the number of clicks it takes to get a new calendar even updated to everyone's device. So finally, if you're using a firm's calendar in your practice management software, you should be able to track the case that each calendar event related to. As the timeline, you can just track it as what's happening in the case. And the task management is another feature that this practice management tool offers. So this can have your documents connected to all the case, the matters related to all the matters related to the case in your practice management software. So it's a single place that you can go up to, right? So email management, right? So nobody would want to enjoy reviewing emails in Outlook, considering a number of mails that we get. So it's impossible to do the number of mails that we get on every single day. So many legal practicing management software, this includes these mails are included in the software management, so it's easy access. And then the workflow, that's an important feature in this software. So when you're speaking to a vendor, workflow is something that which you need to define as what is the workflow for your particular firm. So it has the potential of new client tracking, right? And enhance cybersecurity, especially when you're going to talk about handling your clients' cases. Security of placing the documents is something, as lawyers, we need to give importance. So these tools are offering the cybersecurity benefits as well. So coming to the next box, which is, the online dispute resolution. So as in the timeline, we have seen the dispute resolution is something, which gives a speedy resolution, especially for a smaller unit of, say something like a e-commerce issue you have. You don't want to waste time, filing a case, going for appearances, right? So this is an ODR software, it's called. So it gives a flexibility from a financial standpoint, and also, it's possible to avoid complex jurisdictional difficulties. So, one of, uh, in the online dispute resolution, a couple of them who are in a different part of India, so they're not able to travel. They had, it's not so privileged to travel rather, but they had some issues with the employer, a non-settlement of the salary. So this has been solved in the dispute process, online dispute process, because up and fro itself would have cost them that 1 lakh or 2 lakh, which was pending from the employer, right? So e-discovery is something, another process which has been there, time and again. But what is so special with AI is the precision, the predictive coding, and the cost efficiency. All right, so this is the the use of drafting contracts we have seen, which saves time, accuracy, improved consistency, cost effective. All right. Otherwise, also the contract management has been considered that the poor visibility and control, especially without without the technology's interference, the standardization was not there. The inability to manage the changes, and because of that, a non-compliance and very low process efficiency. Right. So this is the contract lifecycle management. So all these things, what's been mentioned here, a contract request, authoring contracts, negotiation, approval process, execution, storage, compliance, audit, review, renewals have been taken care by the technology now, right? So the legal practice management software is what you've seen, which has the calendar benefits, document templates, file management, task management, legal workflow automation, tracking cases. All right. So yes, so this is what we have almost gone through, the kind of tools that what I wanted to present, and in areas of the areas of law, which is happening in terms of technology currently, the technology advent in these areas. So now Sunitha will take you through as how LLMs and Gen AI is having a upper hand in terms of the law practice. Yeah, over to you, Sunitha.
Thank you, Ramya. Am I audible?
Yes, Sunitha, we can hear you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Sunitha.
So let us discuss about LLM, large language models. So if I say LLM, you might be getting confused. But what if I would say that ChatGPT? Because ChatGPT was the famous chat bot since it launched on 2022. Correct. So LLMs are created with large amounts of data available on internet, website and books, and a lot of materials are taken for. That also includes copyrighted material. That is why we have recently witnessed many lawsuits filed against OpenAI by New York Times and some other artists also. Okay. So LLMs excel in performing diverse tasks such as translation, content generation, and providing informative responses to questions like how we can give an input to ChatGPT, like for writing any petition or writing any contract. it will perform that task, right? It will generate that human kind of content. So how it is able to perform that content means it has taken a lot of data for training the model, for training this kind of chatbot. Imagine if you are really smart friend who knows a lot of words and can write stories about almost anything. So you can say that ChatGPT is a kind of friend. It will perform any kind of task. I mean, generating text, or you can say that generating images. So all those tasks is possible with the help of this kind of LLMs. But one thing you should understand is it doesn't have that human intelligence. So whenever you use this kind of chat bot like chat GPT or any other popular LLMs, before submitting it to court or any other authorities or to clients, go through that, read it once. Otherwise, these LLMs have some other issues also, like they lack that they have discrimination problem, they have bias, they have hallucination. And one thing which is very much lacking is, I would say that they won't show the sources of information, source from which sources they are deriving that information. So that is one major drawback. And secondly, whenever you are using this kind of chatbot, I would suggest try to use a separate email ID, because they may use your data, whatever input you are giving to this chatbot. These companies may use this for training their model. So be careful while providing any input to these chatbots. And one more thing you should careful about is, whenever you upload any document, delete all the sensitive information. Okay, whether it is related to client or any other kind of information you are thinking that is very much important, then please delete it off. That is something very important. And another aspect of is that, as I said, there is discrimination because this hallucination happens and bias also happens. So bias may be towards the gender or social economic bias, or it towards any country or something specific sectors also. So that is something you should be very careful about it. And while submitting those uh, information in front of authorities uh, or any clients, you should be very careful. Always read the output which is generated by these models, okay? And once you read it, you can see that it may not be so accurate, because why it is that the quality of the output largely depends upon the quality of the prompt it is giving. Prompt means the input we are giving to this model. So while giving input, give a full context. If examples are necessary, then give examples. That is something you should understand. And ChatGPT is not only the one LLM. There are many other LLMs also available, like Gemini. Google's Gemini is also one more chatbot, and Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. Then Claude also is another chatbot which you can try. So let me show you how they will perform while giving a input. Okay. And generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence that includes, that can produce various type of content, including text, images, audio, and synthetic data. It works by learning the patterns and structure of its training data and then generating new data that has similar characteristics. So all this ChatGPT and large language models, what they do is they are just predicting the next word. It doesn't have that human intelligence. That's why I told you, whenever you are using this chatbot for getting any information while preparing any kind of agreement or any affidavit. You just read it, because we cannot rely on this model completely. It doesn't have that human intelligence. Then generative AI includes this large language models and image generation tools, all other uh, applications. Like you can give input, and with the help of that input you can generate images and even songs also. So all this come under generative AI. Generative AI has a wide range of application, including creating new content, automating tasks, improving productivity, and enhancing creative process. It can be used to generate text, images, audio, video, and even code also. It is like having a magical artist inside your computer that can draw pictures, create stories, or even make music without needing a human to tell it exactly what to do. It is like having a super creative friend. You will get a lot of generative AI applications. There are certain, you might be thinking that from where I will get this kind of applications. So I will tell you, there are two famous AI directories. One is futurepedia.io, and another one is futurotools.io. They have around 5,000 AI tools are there, which includes legal tools as well. So if you just give a search, you can find that there are a lot of legal tools. Around 55 tools are available, and some tools are very interesting as well. So let me show some demo. I'll show you first Jenny AI, which is a contract drafting tool. A second. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can, Sunita. Find templates you can trust.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So this is a Jenny AI. It is a contract drafting tool based on AI. So we can just try can take a template. I think there is some problem with my connection.
Idea, Sunita?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. We want to be sure we don't have a technological glitch.
Yes, yes, yes. This is a Jenny AI.
Okay.
So you can use you can review document also. You can import document, and you can even create documents as well. Okay. Yes. So you can see here, like we can summarize the document. See, it will show the summary. Likewise, you can also change if you want to change, and a chatbot also available. Okay, so this is one tool. Another one.
Hi there, Sunitha. Okay, I think there was a
Yes,
slight
yes,
network
yes.
glitch. We can't see your screen anymore.
Oh. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, yes. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Yes. So this is one more tool which you can use for drafting contract. Okay. This legal graph. They are still building. They might launch within 1 or 2 months. They are also adding more features like comparing the uh, contract, like the old one and edited one also. And there is also a assistance. And just see. Like this, AI will give you, and but it's a really great tool. And another one I will suggest. I'll show you one AI directory. Can you see? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Dora AI, Thunderbolt, Metaforms.
So
Yes.
yes, so this is futuropedia.io. They have around 5,000 AI tools. This includes legal tools as well. So if you just give legal,
Okay.
will show a lot of tools. See, around 12 is there. In this, Robin AI is something is very interesting. It's a contract drafting tool, and it is coming as a plugin to Microsoft Word. Okay, and there is one more drafting tool which I will tell. Insight. Okay. That is also coming as a plugin to Microsoft Word, and it is available for free. They are offering free trial. That is something you can check it out. Then Luminance and all, it's CLM tools. See, you can see Claude Tree and also there. About generative AI, you can find many AI applications which will be able to predict the case outcomes. So this case test also has some features similar to that. Legal robot, that's also again a contract drafting tool, and AI judge. Harvey is famous AI application, line and obey. See, you can find a lot of applications. So this is something.
Your voice, you can probably switch off the camera
And
video.
the next one.
Your voice is breaking. Yeah.
Okay. Then let me take you to Ask Junior.
Okay, Sunita, we can't see your screen anymore.
Okay, okay. Ma'am. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, yes. So this is Ask Junior. So if you would like to summarize any judgments, this is a pretty good tool. I'll just show you.
Right, this particular tool, so sorry to jump in here. This the summarization tool, as far as at least Indian jurisdiction is concerned, the the judgments are everywhere. The facts are everywhere, and the application is everywhere. So it becomes quite challenging. And most of the interns, when they're interning after their college, they have been asked by the seniors to do this annotating work, right? So what they do is going through almost 100 to 200 pages of the judgments. So what
Well, we can't hear you, Ramya. We can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you,
Yes,
Sunita.
yes, 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 yes. Yes. So I am facing some trouble while logging into this Ask Junior. So these are the tools I would like to show.
Sorry,
So there are some,
Sunita, I think Ramya is
yes.
speaking. I think Ramya is speaking. Okay, I think she has stopped. Okay, maybe we can continue because we are not hearing her at the time. We can continue. Thank you.
Okay, okay, okay.
Thank
So
you.
what I said is Ask Junior, which is a pretty good tool, which is helpful for summarizing the judgments. Okay. And but there is certain limits also when you upload documents. It won't accept after certain limits. So that is something you should be careful about. And now let me show you one more tool.
Sunitha, your screen is not shared.
Yes, her screen is not
Can you see my
shared.
screen?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, so this is one more AI directory called futurotools.io. They also have around 5,000 tools. Okay, you can see that AI detection and image scanning and even generating codes and copywriting, chat, productivity tools also there. And you can find legal tools as well. So these are the two directories which I always refer. One is futuropedia.io and another one is futuretools.io.
All right. That's great, Sunitha. And here I would just, I know we are running beyond the allocated time, but I just, 5 minutes, I just want to take you through, some important thing, which in terms of using ChatGPT and all other LLMs, as Sunitha was telling, right, as how you can use these LLMs in your practice. Right.
Okay.
So here for drafting, I've just given handouts. The initial idea is basically to take you through and the show with the tools how different you would find the results in each LLMs like Gemini, Claude, and ChatGPT. But considering the time constraint, so here we have just given the prompt just to quickly take you through. So whenever you're asking LLMs to say draft a contract, right? So that's something which would be a differentiator when and a person who is not a lawyer can also ask LLMs the same question and get the content out of it. So what's the difference is something the real intelligent, the prompt that we give these tools. So it's basically, you can first ask, in chat GPT especially, you have where you can customize your, profile. So hope you all are aware about it. If not, it would be there once you log in on the right side corner. Your photo will be there, your name will be there, your initials. Once you click that, it would have a customization option. So you may just say you are a lawyer, your jurisdiction, and this is the line of practice, right? So once you say that, you don't need to tell the tool, once again. And this feature is available as of now, at least only in ChatGPT. If you are going with Claude or Gemini to, ask for certain things, again, you have to, explain your position, stating, I am a lawyer, this is my intention, so I need these things. So that this every time you need to do this task. But ChatGPT, you can just give a standalone instruction. You can just say I'm a marketer or whatever you are. So whenever it's seeing your command, it would your prompt rather, it would always refer to your customization and accordingly would give it, right? So when you're talking about prompt, when you're wanting the ChatGPT to give you a drafting contract, or rather legal opinion. So what we generally do is you tell who you are. I'm a lawyer practicing in which area, and this is the facts of the case, right? So having said that, this is what I really find the differentiator, right? So you have to ask ChatGPT or LLM, with which you are interacting with, asking, you ask me 10 questions or 15 questions, where you would want me to answer, to give me the legal opinion, right? So because understanding the facts, it's very important. So when you're giving the facts, when you're giving the situation, you would have missed out few things. So when you just give 5 things, the LLMs are going to give you an opinion only based on 5 things. But to ensure that you are covered everywhere, right? What you can do is you can ask LLMs to ask you question, stating, this is the fact of the case, right? So I want to give a legal opinion to my client. So now you ask me 10 questions, 15 questions, right? So what happens is, to the extent of 20, 25, you can go. It's going to ask what's the jurisdiction, what is, XYZ things. It's going to ask 10 questions. So what happens is beyond a point, you would find these questions are irrelevant or rather repeatedly asking or has been, kind of duplicated. So once you find that, after 8 questions, it doesn't make sense, it's repeated, probably you may just stop answering the questions. You can now ask the LLM to draft a legal opinion for you, right? And also it's important because every law firm, every jurisdiction, they have a format of forming a legal opinion. So you need to, currently with the chat GPT-4o, at least you have an option to upload documents. Claude also has the option where you can upload the documents, right? So you may just upload the document and say, this is the format that I want you to draft this opinion in this format, right? So you would really get a flawless opinion, at least 82, or rather I would say 70-75%, your work is done. Then you may just go through. However, you just can't present the same material to a client, right? So in that way, you will get a flawless opinion. All right. So talking about the next one, this is generating list of dates and events with LLMs, right? So what happens is, when you have a petition, right? So you have a petition, you have all around dates, the case has been running for years, you have multiple facts, multiple dates. So what happens is that it really, challenging task for someone to sit and note down each date, say the date of this person was born on this date, or this particular date this injury happened, then this case has happened, and then the appeal had gone, right? So for this particular job, what you can do is you can assign LLMs to do this job. So where you just open LLM and just say, I need to have this list of events, to be formatted in a chronological order. You just give, in case of if you require any specific date format, DDMM, MMDD, and tell that you need, in most of the cases, they, the judges, they would want to have it in the tabular format. So you just ask them that you need in a tabular format. So it's going to give you the list of dates in a chronological order, right? So this is something the LLMs would really do a quick job saving your time. All right, drafting contracts with LLM, again, as I said, as how the opinion wants. I've just given the prompt. You may say, I just want to have this particular agreement, this particular jurisdiction, ask me questions. So this is the trump card, where, something would differentiate, because of late, come across whoever has access towards this LLM, they become lawyers or half lawyers with the usage of this tool. So, really what happens is when it's asked, when you're telling the LLM to ask you these questions, right? So only a legal mind can apply this cases, right? So even at times, maybe a particular case is something which you've never handled, right? You're so new to it. So you really don't know what's the questions that you need to ask your client, to send them. So in that case, you can just put it across, tell LLMs to ask you questions. So in terms, you may just answer those questions. So wherever you have a doubt, you can always go back to your research. In terms of, if you have a doubt in terms of fact, you can get back to your client. In terms of law, you always can get back to the research. All right, so about analyzing is something, it's quite, we've just uploaded document where, probably you can say, which is not complete contract. So you may just ask for these questions. I have just mentioned those questions, some 4, 6, 8 questions I've mentioned. So this PPT would be handed over to you. You don't need to make a note of all these things. So you can just say which clause is so onerous clause, right? And you just define me, this specific term or definition is not clear to me. Or can you clarify the meaning of this clause? And you may even say, you may compare the indemnification clause and the standard indemnification clause in the contract. So, it can analyze the risk, right? So what's the risk involved in this particular contract? I am in this client side, right? So there are a couple of other questions. So, so you may just ask these questions to get a better contract, so we always say, as many questions you ask. So it's not that you just ask, draft a contract, and you can never blame that, LLM has not given me, I've given the question to LLM and it's of not use. So it's about how we give the input is how we get the output. So this is about the drafting to do with LLMs. And these are the tools, which is the most happening tools where you can just use it. So in terms of e-discovery, everything, contract negotiation and digital signature, practice management software. So for all these things. And as far as LLM is concerned, I just want to add one more thing. Just give me a minute. Right, since we're talking about drafting, prompting all this while, I just recently found an app probably last week. So that just helped me really well in terms of, um, I'll just quickly take you through as what is that. So I'll just show you, I'll not take you through any demo. Okay. All right. So this is basically an extension called, right, keywords everywhere. You may just make a note of it. It's keywords, KEYWRDS everywhere. I'll just tell you how it works. It was just mind blowing. So, so once you
Ramya, are you still there? Ramya? Are you still there, Ramya? I think we lost you. Okay, we'll wait for Ramya to. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Sunitha.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you there is one more AI tool which is called Perplexity, perplexity.ai. You might have heard of it. It is like a free AI search engine. Okay. So one disadvantage of LLM is that it won't show the sources of the data, sources of those information. But when you search in Perplexity, it will show you the information from where it is getting. Okay, the sources of the websites and from which material they are providing those information that is available. I'll just put it in the chat. It's called perplexity.ai. And secondly, where in case of LLMs also, there are different model like chat. In case of ChatGPT, there is ChatGPT 3.5, ChatGPT 4, and the ChatGPT 4 also that is recently launched. To get ChatGPT 4, it's a paid version. Okay, so you can access ChatGPT 4 through merlin.ai, which is available free. And you can also try different models in Merlin. So merlin.ai is also another generative AI, which is helpful for summarizing the content and almost all tasks which you can perform through these LLMs, which can be performed through Merlin. And you will also get different models like Claude also available in Merlin. And another one is Poet, that is also similar to Merlin. Okay. That also I will put it in screen. I'll just complete the presentation. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Sunita, I can see your screen.
Yes. So while giving prompt, you also refer to the guidelines of the companies which is providing this chatbot. Okay. In case of Cloud, they have very really good material uh, that describes the how to give the prompt, like to assign a role and give clear instruction. These are certain things which you should always keep in mind.
We can see your screen, Sunita.
Yes. Yes. So in case of legal research tools, you can go for Westlaw and Lexis, CoCounsel and Western.ai. And in case of contract drafting, I would suggest Pinsight and Robin.ai. These are two free tools. And the demo which I have shown, like Legal Graph, they are also building good, great features. So that also we can refer. And management, Luminance and Henchman, Spot Draft, they are pretty good. In case of e-discovery, relatively Everlow, Logical, those are go-to the ones. And in case of online dispute resolution, ODR, Tyler Tech. And in case of digital signature, you can say that Exodosign and DigiSigner. If you're looking for legal practice management software, that you can find out in Ghost Practice and Lexer, Law Practice, and all. So these are some go-to legal tools. Okay. Yes. So thank you. Thank you for inviting. If you have any questions, then please drop it in the chat box. I can answer.
Thank you very much, Sunita. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful one. And I don't know if there's any other person here that before now thought LLM only meant masters at law. I don't know if anyone has. So today we realize that large language model also means LLM. Okay, thank you. So we can bring our questions. We can bring our questions in. Does anyone have any question? Any area that you want Sunita or Ramya to clarify? Any question? Thank you all for joining. Thank you all. Thank you all. Any question? Any question? Okay. So while we are waiting for the questions to come in, for us to save time, we would hand over the virtual mic to Mr. Solomon Oshinubi. So while Mr. Solomon is making his presentations, please endeavor to drop your questions or comments on the chat box. We can pick the questions up from there. Any area of clarification, or if you want Sunita or Ramya to also shed more light on any of these AI tools that you require for your legal drafting, legal opinions, or whatever it is that you want technology to aid in your legal practice, drop your questions on the chat box, and then of course we'll come back to that once Mr. Solomon is done with his wonderful presentation for the next 30 minutes. Mr. Solomon, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for having me on this webinar, everybody. My name is Solomon, and I will be doing a brief demo on a legal tech tool called Evis. Just a brief introduction on Evis. So I am also a lawyer, and I practice in Nigeria for quite a while. And during that period, I realized that a lot of legal teams spend a lot of time and money in respect to the entire contract process. So especially for law firms and in-house legal departments, a lot of time was spent on not so interesting parts of the work, including, legal drafting, legal reviews, negotiating, sending emails back and forth, you know, sometimes or a lot of the times, not being able to track what version is what version, you know, was sent, you know, things like that. And I came up with the idea to actually reduce and streamline that entire process, you know, so that legal teams can actually do more efficiently and also save costs, save money. So we launched Evis sometime last year, and we were accepted into the Barclays Eagle Labs program, where we built the product after speaking to several in-house, you know, head of legals in-house and a lot of law firm partners, both in Lagos and in London as well. And after building, we became top 10 out of the entire cohorts in the program. And we have been working with Barclays ever since then, and the University of Hertfordshire to, you know, develop special models, right, that can actually help you with your entire contract process. So involving drafting, reviewing, negotiating, you know, analyzing contracts, basically. So without further ado, I will just do a quick demo and show you how it works. Just to put this out there, at this stage, we are currently, you know, in the process of launching the first version, first MVP, and you know, we would like everybody to actually join the waitlist, you know, and be one of the first users. One of the things that we're doing is that we are opening out for it to be free for the first users, you know, for a while to test, give feedback, and after that, we'll then, you know, give you like heavily discounted, you know, rates by virtue of being members of the MBA Gaki branch. I'm just going to put in the chat box the website where you can join the wait list. Yeah. Yes, there you go. So please check it out, join the wait list, and you know, we would keep you updated once things are finalized and you can test it. We'll send you you know, free login keys where you can check out the tool for free. You can use it you know, and give us feedback as well. So without further ado, I would just share my screen and jump into this. Just 1 second here. Please let me know when you can see my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Confidentiality and non-disclosure agreements.
Great. So, well, I was also going to mention, before now, Evis had been used to review or to test out with quite a number of documents, including, I don't know if any of you have seen Water and Gary on Amazon Prime, the production producer agreement for the soundtrack for that movie was reviewed using Evis. As well as, you know, a number of shows that have been had here in London with also Afrobeat artists as well. So we, I mean, I was listening to what Sunitha, you know, mentioned, and so I was taking notes on some of the things that she mentioned as well. And, you know, I know she talked about confidentiality, you know, and privacy, either Sunitha or Ramya. And one of the things that we were also really worried about was the fact that we didn't want people uploading documents, you know, to any platform for review. Like we said, a lot of the tools that we have out there, they're either too expensive or they require you to upload your documents online. Nobody really wants to upload. I personally will not upload, you know, a document for it to be reviewed. Which is kind of like an oxymoron, because a lot of the time you say, oh, we don't want to upload this thing because of you know, privacy and confidentiality reasons. But then, you know, when we're trying to save our contracts, our documents, we buy contract management tools, or then we save them on SharePoint, but we don't really think that way when we are doing it. It's just really funny. And I'm talking to myself, you know, as well. So what we did was that we made this a Microsoft Word plugin tool so that you can work with it alongside, you know, while you're working on Microsoft, just the same way you have Grammarly. So if you click on this, it will drop down the tool, and then, you know, you have the home page here. You have the draft section, review, negotiate, summarize. So what we try to do is that we try to create an end-to-end process. Unlike, you know, some of the products that we have there that just feature on one specific process of the contract, you know, end-to-end contract process. So a lot of tools, some of them focus on drafting only, some of them focus on review only, some of them focus on negotiating contracts only, some of them just do contract summaries. A lot of the time as lawyers, we need everything, you know, at some point, you know, even though we use different tools or, you know, find different ways to achieve everything, at some point we need, you know, everything. So what we did was that we tried to incorporate everything into one, and we're still adding more features to this to also include legal education. As the host would know, we both went to law school together. A lot of the things that we were taught there were not 100% useful in real life practice. You know, things like indemnities, you know, how indemnities relate to liability, limitation of liability, those are the things that you learn, you know, on a day-to-day in practice. So we also want to add that education section to this for like the junior lawyer, so that we don't just create a generation of lawyers that don't really understand the law. Even though we're trying to make things, you know, easier and more efficient, we also want them to also understand why this AI tool is recommending this, why this AI tool is doing this and that. Another thing I also wanted to mention is the fact that a lot of the time there's a lot of fears about, you know, ChatGPT, LLM tools. You know, does it really give you the right thing? You know, does it really say the right thing? I'm sure you must have tried to put like a contract on ChatGPT or ask it to review a contract, and it comes out, it's hallucinating, it's saying this, it's saying that. It's just essentially saying things that are not exactly 100% correct, right? And one thing I tell people is that, look, ChatGPT is a general LLM model. It has a lot of knowledge. It's like asking a generalist to actually do something law related, right? Even though they have an idea, they can't give you exactly what you're looking for, because they have not been trained in that exact, well, or to understand that exact knowledge. They have bits and pieces of knowledge here and there, because at the end of the day, LLM systems are all about what you give in, right? What you give in, if you give in rubbish, you get out rubbish. If you don't train it for a specific purpose, right, you will not get, you know, the quality of answers that you're looking for. It's just like, you know, airplanes, right? So even way before now, we've had, you know, machine learning systems for, you know, auto drive and autopilot and auto driving Tesla cars, right? And we can't say that, oh, we don't trust in these things because they are machine learning. But truth is, these things have been trained for this specific purpose, and it only gets better at it, right? So yeah, that's the difference between ChatGPT and, you know, a lot of some of the other tools like we have, just like Elvis. At this stage, we're focusing only on the review function for now, because if you try and check it, we're trying to see how much people would really need some of these tools. So for example, the draft bit, if you click on the draft bit, what you have here, you know, so we're currently developing this feature. We want to see how much, because we're trying to build this with the users in mind. We don't want to build something, or we don't want to finalize something that people wouldn't need, right? So yeah, just a second. So we're going to the review function. When you click on the review function, what we have is a combination of the risk analysis and the reviews as well. So here we click on the agreement type. In this case, is a non-disclosure agreement. And we click on the applicable law. It's a Nigerian contract. So here we click on the sector. One thing that we've done, that we've tried to do, is that we've tried to train the model to understand different types of contracts. And not just that, also understanding nuances, you know, with these contracts with respect to the specific sectors in these countries, in these jurisdictions, right? And that's why we would like you to like select all these options so that the model can actually properly understand, you know, where you're coming from. So in this case, it's an IT agreement. So select the party. So the party is essentially the party that you are reviewing for. And in this case to be the recipient. Now, when you click review, It just takes, a while. So what we're doing is that we keep adding more knowledge to, the platform. We keep adding more knowledge. And another interesting thing that we're trying to do as well is that we're also trying to help lawyers replicate their style of negotiations, replicate their style of reviews. So in one of our subscription platform, that's the partner one, if you consent, right? And that's an if you consent, right? We can have you give access, right, to the model to actually understand and, see how you negotiate your contract, see how you review your contract. Essentially, you're teaching is learning from you, right? So that when next you have a similar contract, it properly understands how you negotiate those contracts, you understand how you review those contracts in the past, and then not only that, it then builds on that knowledge and then makes recommendations that even you had never really thought about, right? Now, the good thing about this is that all this is quadrilled off from other accounts, so that we build a ring fence around it in such a way that this is only limited to yourself, your account, or your team's account, things like that. You can restrict who in the team has access to, this knowledge. Reason for this is that we don't want, other people or other subscribers to have access to this knowledge that you have built. So it's kind of like you replicating yourself to make your work a lot easier, right? To make your workflow a lot easier, and also considering the fact that a lot of clients, want to haggle fees nowadays. If you're working in-house, business wants, to get their contracts ASAP. So it will only make a lot of sense for us to have, a platform that can replicate what you do 10 times more accurate than what you do and 10 times faster than how you would have done that. So what we have here after the review is a bunch of recommendations based on the information that you have put in the past. So let's say in this case, another thing is that, it also gives you like a risk level, and it also suggests changes, right, that could be made in this agreement. Just 1 second. Yeah, changes that could be made in this agreement. Now, what this is that it gives you the power as a lawyer to actually accept or reject the changes. It doesn't automatically make the changes for you. So what it does is that it gives you suggestions. It essentially does the work of a first level junior lawyer, junior associate, or first and second level junior lawyers and associates, right? And yeah, so in this case, if you accept the change, right, it automatically marks up the contract. If you accept the change, it automatically marks up the contract. Another thing that we have here is also the comments, right? So in this case, it gives you the reason, the comment as to why it has made this suggestion. So in this case, this clause should explicitly state the requirements for the recipient to have similar level of confidentiality with their investors as stated in this agreement to ensure protection is extended. One thing that we're trying to do is also we're trying to help users, enable them also edit these comments right before they put in. And if you're happy with the changes, right, you can click on this and add this comment to the document and also accept this change and add to the document as well. Same thing with this, you can accept this, or you can reject it if you don't want. You can also add this to the documents as well and accept this change. So it automatically marks up the document. You can see that we spent less than 10 minutes and we marked up this document already. Now, usually the way to work in a law firm, as people would always say, first-time AI systems, they're accurate, but then you also need to check them, right? Check them here and there. So what happens is that usually in the law firm, the junior lawyer will do this, to then go to like another, level of associate to take a look at, what the lawyer has done. After that, to then go to another level. What we're doing is that we're cutting out those first 2 levels, right? Making it a lot more efficient, right? So with this, it already goes straight to, the middle middle lawyer reviewer or straight to the partner, whoever it is that's going to review. Another thing that we're looking to add here is that, sometimes from time to time, there might be certain terms or certain clauses that the parties must have agreed. Obviously, the AI doesn't know that, right? So we're looking to add a command button where you can modify this contract. You can modify this contract by just giving it a simple command in simple English. Now, the AI, the model, understands the language style of your contract, right? So let's say, for example, in this case, you want to say, you want to limit a supplier from sending your data to certain countries, right? And you don't have that clause, or you're not exactly sure if this contract covers that clause. You could just type in the command section and say, oh, limits the supplier from sending our data to XYZ number of countries, and hit enter. What it does is that it then come to the agreement and then draft a clause in the language style of this agreement, right? And create a clause for that instruction that you have put in. So yes, that is, essentially a very, very brief demo. If you have any questions, please let me know, and opening the floor for questions. Thank you. Any questions? Nobody's asking how much. Okay, so I'll just stop this now, and oh, sorry, I just need to check. Okay. Yeah, so please let us know if you have any questions. If somebody says yes, what is the cost? So at this time, we are launching a pilot program. So the cost is going to be free for anybody that joins the wait list. And for the first 100 users, the first 100 people that join, we have a special, discount for them. So the idea is to get them on the pilot. You actually also get feedback from them. It's free for a certain period, which would communicate. And after that, you get a highly discounted cost, almost free, to be honest, because it's a way of saying thank you for like contributing to building this, because we want to build this with the users as well, not just building something and then dumping it. We want to build something that reflects what exactly you're struggling with as a lawyer.
Thank you very much, Mr. Solomon. Sunitha, you are laughing. What was making you laugh, Sunitha? Sunitha was laughing. Mr. Solomon said almost free. Sunitha was.
No. Someone has asked what is the cost. So I was thinking like, okay, it is not free of cost.
I saw Sunitha laughing. I was like, I was also laughing too. Mr. Solomon, thank you very much. That's very wonderful. I think I had asked a question on one of these programs on technology law, and I asked, okay, over here in Nigeria, lawyers find it challenging to even get clients to make payments. Now that we have technology doing most, and then the client will tell you, what are you doing? The document you're reading in your laptop, are you not printing it out and putting your name and everything? So the question now is, now that we have AI everywhere, and of course, Sunitha and Ramya has given us a lot of tech tools, how is it that the lawyer will not be charging his fees if what the lawyer can do, any random person out there can actually put it in AI and get the same results?
Yes, so like I showed you here, right? Just 1 second. Like I showed you here, this we built this for lawyers. We didn't build it for anybody. So for example, if you're reviewing a document, right? As a lawyer, what this gives you is the flexibility, right? The risks are higher if you just go accepting everything, right? Because obviously you need to understand what you're working on. You need to understand what you're doing. You need to understand what you want to achieve, right? So we built this to assist lawyers, not to replace them. And that's why we give lawyers the freedom, right, to either accept or reject. It's more or less like suggestions, not like as if it's to just mark up the document and say, hold on a second, this is what, this document has to be. No, it's kind of like, oh, I think this is what should be, this is what should be, things like that. So yes, what I would say this is like, I mean, it's for lawyers. If obviously clients will most likely not want to pay for this for like lawyers, maybe their legal teams and all that, depending on the kind of client. And obviously clients who do not have legal teams that use this will obviously would not know what exactly you're using, right? It's still you doing your job, but doing it a lot quicker, a lot more in a lot more efficient manner. So yes, I think another thing is that it also makes, the legal work, that it also makes you more competitive, right? So it makes you, it reduces your a lot of your overhead costs, right? It reduces the time that you spend on contracts. So if you're going to spend like 4, 5, 6, 7 hours on a contract, right? You're probably spending like 30 minutes, on the contract. On the contract, you can charge, appropriately, or you can charge, however it is that you like. So yeah. Somebody asks me, is it downloadable Google Play? No, for now, because what we have here is it's a Microsoft Word plugin. At the moment, it only runs with Microsoft Word. We're also looking to make it run with Adobe as well for like PDF contracts. But if you join the wait list, we will send you a link on how to access it once it's ready, and how to, download it and get the keys to it. Somebody says, can one user use for several practice areas, or is it only applicable for one practice area? So we have a number of practice areas there. You can use it for also general commercial contract, and we regularly update the practice areas that you can use it for: oil and gas, general commercial contracts, also, contracts that span across, different practice areas. So
Okay, Mr. Solomon, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Please,
you
does
very
anyone
much.
have any other question? You can indicate by raising up your hand, and then, of course, you'll be unmuted and you can ask your question. Do we have anyone that has a question for Mr. Solomon, for Sunitha, for Ramya? Our facilitators are still very much around and they are willing to answer our questions. You see, the more I was watching a movie last night before I dozed off. What's this, Atlas or something? It's a recent
Atlas.
release
Yeah.
on Netflix.
On
Mr.
Netflix.
Solomon, did you also draft the contract for the soundtrack for that particular movie?
No.
Okay. And of course, the beginning of the movie was that AI has gone rogue and then went about killing people. Then you had this AI terrorist. So the question is there a possibility? I think this question is both to Sunitha and Ramya. Is there a possibility that these tech and AI tools can go rogue and then start doing something different from what a lawyer actually intends it to do? So I don't know if Sunitha or Ramya has something to put in there. Sunitha, Ramya, I don't know if you got the question.
Can you repeat that?
Okay. I was going to.
Okay, I said, is it possible that I was just referring to a movie I watched and what occurred in the movie? And I'm saying of course, with what is happening, we're looking at in the next 10 years, lawyers will most likely be reliant on tech AI for their practice, certainly. So is there a possibility of these tools going rogue, as it were, and possibly giving a lawyer something different than what the lawyer actually intends for it to happen? So is there a possibility, or is there a check for something like that occurring in the near future?
I don't think that currently these tools have reached to that level that they can replace lawyers completely. What I think is there will be a great transformation the way we work, right? It is just think it like just a tool. It doesn't reach to that level that we can say that equivalent to human intelligence. Whatever you are seeing in Terminator or any other movies, I don't think that we are into that level. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I
Okay,
think
Also,
Ramya.
just to add one more thing, currently, the billable hours, it's something really challenging when you consider a legal research. So with these tools, So lawyers are able to justify. So otherwise you cannot justify 2 hours you've taken for review, or 3 hours you've taken for review of the document. So this, when it's getting done really fast, so it saves money mutually for the client, and also the time for the lawyers. And yeah, as Sunitha said, these are just the tools. Let's use it as tools. Like I just remember Henry Ford's wording when before he just found the car, the Ford car. So he just said, if I have to ask what they want, they would have told a fast running horse, right? So
Exactly.
and not the car. So this is something I feel in the perception we need to change, right? So the traditional way of practicing. So when something is coming new, the open mindedness, the adapt, not to get scared of it, right? So AI can never be our boss, still it cannot replace us as lawyers, right? But they always say AI will not replace it, but someone who knows how to work with AI will replace you. So let's just catch them up. So that's what I just want to close it stating. AI would never replace us, but let's learn AI, so we will not be replaced, rather.
I think I like that idea, Ramya, that AI can't replace us, but someone that can use AI will actually replace you. I think that's a beautiful takeaway for me from what you said. Mr. Solomon, you wanted to say something before.
Yes, I wanted to add that. I mean, essentially what Ramya said. So a lot of people, so when you talk about AI, a lot of people are very skeptical about things like this. And the first thing that goes, oh, data security, oh, confidentiality, oh, what are they using the data for? Oh, this, oh, that. And I'm like, we draft our contracts on Microsoft Word. Have you ever questioned yourself to ask, oh, does Microsoft actually take whatever I type on MS Word? Does it,
We
we don't
store
really,
data on cloud and Google
we,
Drive and
we store
everything.
data on cloud, we store very important data on Google. And I think all this, also, all this goes to, I think what we need to start doing, right, before we use any tool, instead of just writing it up, is actually to say, okay, fine, you do this, these are my consents. Let us look at your terms of use. Let us look at your data policies. Do you actually take this data? Let's do a data protection impact assessment. Let's see where this data goes. And then you see a lot of the time, they don't even really take this data, or sometimes they, even if they're using the data, is within, they're not using it to train their system, they're using it to train what you are working on. So they're not actually storing that data. It's kind of like in the cloud and works, in real time, things like that. And I think when people understand this, those fears would actually, I would actually reduce. About AI replacing lawyers, I really don't think that's going to happen, because at the end of the day, like we say, it's a tool. It's like saying, and I remember during the time, well, even though I wasn't exactly during the early times of the internet, but I'm sure during very early times of the internet, when you had like, Bill Gates and the rest, a lot of people were like, oh, what is this? Who's going to use the internet? Who's going to, a lot of people were still using typewriters. They're like, oh, I don't want to use this. What's this internet thing? Blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Like, you can't even live without the internet right now. So there will always be that skepticism, in the beginning. There will always be that skepticism. Look at how we've moved from using typewriters to using laptops, computers. And I think it's just about helping people understand that, look, this in looking at new technology, don't just write it off because you think these are the risks. I think you should actually think more about it. And like I said, okay, look, if you're concerned about data, look at the terms of use and see whether they actually use your data for anything. Obviously, you find out that they actually use it for anything without your permission, you have, case. But then it's just good to always weigh the risks before just writing it off. If not, we will just keep doing things manually. We're losing money. I mean, these days, right, there are platforms like one of the things that we're also trying to do on Everest is to convert with your consent, convert contracts into data points and let you see that, look, this is where you're wasting time on this type of data. This is where you can save time on this type of, based on the number. So let's say you've done like 200 NDAs, right? Or 1,000 NDAs in an oil and gas transaction. And you're gonna look, these are the kind of, transactions that you've done this for. This is where you can find value. It's all about finding value, right? It's all about finding value in data, how you how you negotiate contracts, how you review your contract, where you are spending too much time, what you can do to reduce that time that has been spent. It's just about efficiency, really.
Thank you very much, Mr. Solomon. It's all about efficiency for us. I think that it's actually nice, and I like the way you guys have allayed the fears of some lawyers about AI replacing the work that lawyers actually do. And of course, again, Ramya, I love what you said. AI will not replace us, but someone that knows how to use AI can actually replace you. And of course, Solomon has brought it back to the situation when I'm reading a book by Steve Jobs, and when the Apple system was being developed. Of course, with every advance in technology, people are always skeptical about it. There are persons that want to cling to the old ways. But of course, like what we learn in warfare, if you read books on that, you realize that people that embrace a faster way of fighting becomes the leaders of the world the next year. And of course, by the time every other person is coming at par, the equilibrium is restored. And when somebody realizes another advance in technology, they become the world power of tomorrow. That's a wonderful angle to that. I don't know if anyone have any other question. And once again, Mr. Solomon is saying we can join the wait list on www.evisintelligence.com. So he has spoken about giving us a discount almost free. Of course, Sunita laughed and said, of course, you have to pay for that. Of course. So you can join the wait list and help Mr. Solomon develop the Evis application and software. And while we wait for further questions, we'll quickly, I don't know if Mr. Tonye Clinton Jaja is on the call. Mr. Tonye Clinton, if you are there, can you just wave your hand? Will you be unmuted so that you'll give us on the legal drafting application? Mr. Tonye Jaja?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear Mr. Tonye Jaja. So you're on the virtual mic up to Mr. Tonye Jaja, still in the spirit of technology, efficiency, and artificial intelligence. Let us hear Mr. Tonye Jaja on the application for legislative drafting. Mr. Tonye Jaja, you are on for the next 5 or 6 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. My students call me Dr. Jaja because I hold a PhD in legislative drafting law degree from the University of London. I specialize in an area of law that deals with the legislature. That's the institution of government that makes the laws for the country. Now, when I studied for my master's in legislative drafting, a lot of bills are legislative proposals. Before they become law, they are called bills. Before then, a lot of it was written by longhand. During my master's, I teamed up with some ICT lawyers, and I thought to myself, is it possible to use technology to write laws instead of using the longhand? And we tinkered with this. So I'm talking 2006. Finally, 2-3 years ago, we came up with a software called Legiscriptor. Legiscriptor is a software that is usable for drafting laws. In Nigeria, we have federal laws, we have state laws, we have local government bylaws. The format for each of these category of laws is different. So what we have done with Legiscriptor is to have the option for the user. At the beginning, you are told to select the kind of law you are looking to draft. Federal laws for National Assembly, state laws for state houses of assembly. So the tool makes it easier. It's not an AI tool anyway. We are still working to make it AI. We received a federal government grant last year from a federal government agency called NASENI, National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure. The purpose of that grant is to give us an AI component. We are working with Czech Republic scientists to add an AI component to automate the process. So until then, it's still a rudimentary software, but it simplifies the task of drafting any legislative proposal or bill. So it has 4 parts. Every bill has 4 parts. The preliminary, there's a long title and all. Then the second part is the principal provisions, then you have the miscellaneous provisions, and then the final provisions. So this software has all those parts listed. So you start from the long title, you have the option to edit to suit what you're drafting, and then you can preview your documents. You can share the previewed document. It's an MS Word format. So you can preview it, you can convert it to PDF, send it to your boss for a review before you print. So this is something we've just done. I've just given a brief lowdown or overview of that legislative drafting software called Legiscriptor. The chairman of the MBA Garki branch is a student of a master's student at our institute. He's studying for an LLM in legislative drafting, so he would understand better what we're trying to talk about. We are welcome to, we have an office inside the National Assembly, suite 1.39. You could feel free to come by the office. You have a free demo of how the software works, and then it can be installed on your computer. The reason we are giving this to private lawyers is some private lawyers, once in a while, they get the brief from legislators to draft a legislative bill for the legislators. So it's becoming an area of practice. Legislative law is becoming an area of practice. Lawyers who wish to specialize in this area, this is a tool that they could use to make their work easier. Apart from the software for drafting, the software has a component, an e-library component. The e-library contains all the electronic copies of all the laws of the Federation of Nigeria. There are 552 laws. It also contains legislative law reports of Nigeria. It contains International Journal of Legislative Drafting, 12 volumes. And these are research materials. You could be drafting and you want to see a precedent or something. So you could search in this e-library database, which is part of the software. So this is just a brief overview of this. And I thank you all for the opportunity to speak about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tonye Jaya. My apologies for not putting the title. Dr. Tonye, that's a very wonderful one. Okay, the question is this particular software, is it being used in the National Assembly currently? Because I know our senators still employ a lot of legislative assistants. Of course, once again, I'm going to ask a question, will this say not replace or reduce the number of legislative assistants being employed by the senators? Okay, there are two questions to that. Thank you, sir.
No, it rather increases the number that they can hire. Each legislator, there's a law that says they're entitled to 5 legislative aides, one of which is a lawyer. That's a practice at National Assembly. So our plan, we just received the legal advisor to the Speaker to the House of Reps. He wants us to train all the lawyers who are staff of the National Assembly to use this software. We also have the clerk who wants us to also train his staff on the use of this software. But right now, officially, they've not commenced using it. The clerk has informed us. The clerk happens to be a lawyer. He said they can only do the training during the recess of the National Assembly, which is sometime in September, because now the full session of the House is on. They cannot afford to release their staff for this training.
Okay. Okay, that's a very good one. So I want to believe this app was not used to change our national anthem that was just signed yesterday.
No, not yet. But we still, apart from the National Assembly, we have 21 state houses of assembly that signed up. The clerks of these state houses of assembly signed up that they want to use this software.
Okay.
So they indicated that interest.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tonye. That's a very wonderful one. Okay. Thank you. And I think one thing we could get from this session so far is that the world is actually marching on. Technology is marching on both in legislative drafting, in the private legal work, in everything. And once again, I'll repeat Ramya's dictum and word of wisdom. AI will not replace us, but someone that knows how to use AI will certainly replace you. It's just like going to the field of work with a typewriter and a computer. Of course, a client would want to brief the person that is much more sophisticated and equipped than someone that is a bit somewhere there in the Stone Age. That's a wonderful one. Sunitha, Ramya, Solomon, and Dr. Tonye. I don't know if anyone still has a question. You have any question, you can still indicate before we move on to the closing words from Sunitha, Ramya, and Solomon. Any question, any comment, any area of clarification you would want us to have. And Dr. Tonye, how do we subscribe to this application? I think if someone wants to subscribe to it, how do we get it? Is it on Google? Is it on Play Store? Is it on iStore? How do we get across that, Dr. Tonye?
For now, it's not on Google Play Store, but I've shared with Princess the what's it called? My details. So if anyone wants, we could install for you and train you on how to use it, because it's not just to install it for you.
Okay.
We have to train you on how to use it to work. So
okay,
my
what will the cost
contact
requirement?
with Princess.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know if it's possible Princess can share it on the chat box, so anyone that wants to reach out to Dr. Tonye Jaja can reach out to Dr. Tonye. Okay, while we wait for further questions, Sunitha, next 1 or 2 minutes, do you have any closing remarks?
Yes, I would like to tell you that today we have just discussed about one technology, that is artificial intelligence, right? So when we talk about legal tech tools, there are other tools based on emerging tech like blockchain tech tools. So I would suggest all of you to try whatever we have suggested, because as Ramya said, these tools have the strength to replace those lawyers who are not using it. Okay, so that is something which you should always keep in mind. Obviously, we have so many uh, worrisome things like, okay, data privacy regulations, and they may take our data. So keep aside and try to use these tools. And I thank you, the Karki branch, for inviting us and all the organizers of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sunitha. Ramya, over to you.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. Thank you all. So what we are looking at is more and more lawyers to adopt
your voice is a bit
technology.
low.
Right. What I'm looking at is, more and more lawyers to adapt technology. Let's not get frightened of that. It's not going to be, replacing us, number one. And secondly, it's a moving wind. So we just need to move with that. Otherwise, you can't stand competition. That's another thing, right? So let's not have the reluctancy in adapting the tool. Let's be open, right? So technology is something which you just can't stop or you cannot avoid. You just need to go with the tide. So let's go with the tide and let's do more business and let's do more justice to our clients. And thanks for inviting us once again. It's been a nice session. Yeah.
Thank you, Ramya. I love the fact that you still remember that it's all about let's do business, actually. Thank you very much, Ramya. Solomon Oshinubi, do you have any closing remarks for us?
I mean, first, I just want to thank the NBA Gaki branch for inviting us for this session. Thank you very much and giving us this platform to discuss. And I also want to enjoin everybody to always try and look for innovative ways to practice, right? Look for innovative ways that we can add value to the way we practice law, because law is a business, right? And as a business, you need to look for ways where you can be more efficient, where you can provide better value to your clients, and and also where you can be more where you can not cut costs in that sense, but like, spend less, and get more. So yeah, I just want us to be very open to like new technology. And when I say very open, I don't mean just being open carelessly, right? Like I said, always check the terms, have a think about it, be welcoming, to open technology, and not just killing it in your head from the start.
Okay, thank you, Solomon. Once again, I think towards the tail end of the webinar, we are beginning to bring up the concept of business. Ramya talked about that, Solomon talked about that. Of course, once you tie AI to business, lawyers are much more interested to pay attention. Like, this is going to bring in more business. Solomon said, look for ways to be more efficient, reduce costs, and of course, save time. Sometimes I know most top law firms, lawyers spend a lot of time doing some of this work, reviewing contracts, drafting contracts, and huge volumes of work. And sometimes it's at the expense of family life or personal life. So I believe in any way that the AI tools can actually save some of this time, it will really be very much helpful. Dr. Tonye Jaja, if you are still there, any closing remarks for us? Dr. Tonye? Maybe he has gone back to plenary. Okay, so once again, I'm your host, Mr. Chibueze Maduka. Chibueze, Chibueze. It has been a pleasure hosting this session. Nice, Ramya, nice to meet you. Sunitha, it was wonderful to meet you. Solomon, we've not seen since Bagauda days. Nice to meet you once again. Of course, you've not given me the right to share your story. And Dr. Tonye,
feel free. Feel free.
Share that story. I promise, share the story with only me. Only me. I promise not to tell anybody. Confidentiality. I keep it secret. Trust me, I'm a lawyer. I won't tell nobody.
No, this is a Nigerian story. We have intercontinental guests here, so we don't want them to hear about Mr. Solomon's story. So it's a Nigerian story. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So now I'll hand over the virtual mic to my host, Mr. Cyril Ojeonu, for the closing remarks and then the ending of the program. Once again, thank you all for participating. Thank you all for joining. And when I get to India, Ramya and Sunitha, I'll certainly reach out to you for an Indian cuisine and delicacy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. We have had a very nice and fruitful session. The law is joining just like Ramya said, law is joining the larger society in adopting technology to its fullest, because technology defines our life right now. First and foremost, I would like to appreciate everyone that has been present. We hit a maximum attendance of about 34, which is about 4 more than what we had told Ramya as the estimate. So I think the program deserves a clap for this turnout, and participants have been on even up to this moment. In thanking, I would like to also, in addition to appreciating the participants, appreciate the branch chairman, a very able and dynamic Chioma Ezewobudu, who has been driving a lot of all these good initiatives, to the extent that you may mistake Gaki branch as even the national branch. Even the national overall MBA, because we seem to be making headway in a lot of things, including continuing legal education. We'd like to thank the presenters, Ramya. Ramya, I would say I miss your chicken biryani, because the last time I was in Hyderabad and I went to LV Prasad Institute for Surgery around 2008. I also went to
You can-
Bangalore. I also
You
went
can
to
come to
Bangalore,
Bangalore.
Tech
Yes, I stay in Bangalore, so you can come to Bangalore
I
and
went
you
to
have
Tech
even more
City.
delicious dishes. Yeah.
Yes. So also, Sunitha, we want to appreciate you for joining us in Nigeria here in this discourse. We want to also appreciate our other presenters and panelists, Solomon Oshinubi, Dr. Tonye Clinton Jaja. I want to appreciate you all for all your fruitful insights during these discussions. Finally, our able moderator, the lead moderator who has guided this whole process to a very successful and safe bet. But last but not the least, I want to give a shout out to our able director of the branch Continuing Legal Education, our one and only Princess, who has been very, useful in directing us at every stage. Princess Obari Musa. Once again, thanks to everyone for this very great occasion. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. And this is where we'll draw the curtain for today. Until we see you next time. Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.